All right. Try to resecure some things here. Been a busy day in the city of Richmond. Busy past couple days with wildfires. Getting kind of close into town here. It's on the west side, on the south side of town. Up around Luray and down around on the, I don't know where. Midlothian County, I think, or close to that. But I've been listening to a lot. Got several things moved around here in the shack. Motorola Spectra on top.
Both companies in route. She's being crashed westbound 64190.
That'd be the
Shaka Valley Bridge.
Oh wow, that's right outside. Right outside. All right, Motorola Spectra, Astro Spectra on the left. That's VHF. Motorola CM300 on top of the Radio Shack Pro 2052. I'm using that for 70 centimeters. Of course, the 2052 and both the 2006 are for all the other services, including FRS and GMRS. You'll listen to the aircraft as they come into the hospital across the interstate and the railroad right outside. That there is a Kenwood. I forget exactly what it is. TK7125, I think. And it's set up to listen to MURS. And that particular meter right there is on the Astro Spectra. That antenna is tuned. And it's ready to hear the net. Of course, that was the Super Bowl. It comes in on the 2006 sometimes. Get some of this glow off of here, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, getting set up for the net tonight. Put the Spectra into scan mode, just in case it's on a repeater that I don't normally use. Sometimes it is on the RAS machine. Yep. And it's noisy for me. Frequency again. He's on the MRA and everybody else is on the RAS machine. Yeah, it's going to be another noisy net tonight for me. I was hoping to be on the MRA tonight, but it's not.
I don't know if I said your call sign or my call sign.
Oh well. So I've got the volume turned up on several of these radios. There's the RAT 70 centimeter machine. Let's help Don right quick.
Double X, W4MGA. You're fine. You're into the 145.43. A little bit of white noise. Over.
That's the trustee.
Thank you. I must have doubled with somebody then because a while ago I didn't put out anything but static. But if you can hear me, that's good. I appreciate it. Thank you for the comeback. K4E double X. Clear.
Don, the net's going to be on the RAS machine now. K4ERX. He does that every week. Every week. So it's been pretty windy for a couple of days. These fires are just going to pick up. I've already had 3 accidents outside on the interstate at the interchange. I'm going to refresh my coffee and listen to the preamble. Finally. Funny catching him on the wrong frequency at the wrong time, or the right time. This is what happens when you're a soft voice net control and you got stations like me on the fringe. He's kind of hard to hear. Yes. Were you not paying attention? Golly. If he's hard of hearing, he needs to have a headphone or something. Now, of course, I won't be able to check in. antenna has moved. Further into the center of the apartment here. So you can tell it's harder to hear the net. That's a supposed big machine. It covers a lot of the area. But it's most ideal to have an outdoor antenna. Most folks can do that. I'm not complaining. Suppose if it came down to it, I can somewhat listen if I need to, as long as the nets are here. That was the MRA. I could do much better on the MRA because it's only 3 miles away. I could add coax to the antenna and put it back in the antenna or the window, but I need to remain wheelchair compliant. I've tried it before and it's difficult. It's difficult to roll a wheelchair across the coax. I don't want to hang it off the ceiling either. That'd be easier, but baby girl is concerned about near field RF, so I moved the antenna in here. There's Don, K4EXX. I can turn this down. Those two are running to the soundboard, so I can listen to it privately and separately if I want. Aircraft? Look at that. There's the Stupor Bowl again. Don's bragging about his Ford Lightning again and having a vintage plate, paying less taxes on it again. Talks about it every week, I think. What a terrible signal. But that's my fault, I guess. So, you might think I'm crazy. I can listen to all these at once. And I can, again, turn down the volume on the external speakers, the scanners. Plug in the 2052 in the headphones. It runs into the audio board. And I can listen to all those at once and adjust the volume. I can plug in this Rover tablet or my Android phone and watch and listen to videos on YouTube and other content, other apps. I don't stream anything, but I can pipe that audio into the board and adjust the volume for each. And I don't have to have the external speakers on for these scanners. I can turn those down and still use the line outputs that are on the back of those two, run them into the soundboard, and then use headphones. And I've got an audio amp up on the almost top shelf that I could run out of the audio board and into external speakers through an amplifier. Of course, the Motorola Astra Spectra is run on its external speaker, so is the CM300, and I can listen to those without the soundboard. And I don't plan on tying those in since they have forward-firing speakers. But I can adjust the volume, or I can mentally tune out one or many and listen to a specific conversation, like the net. Turn the volume all the way down, and the soundboard pick it up. The external speaker volume is turned down. Turn it back up. Of course, close my door here to this room, and I can listen to it privately anyways, but I'm trying to catch as much as I can at once. So here's the railroad. Let's get rid of this net. It's not doing me any good right now. I think that guy's really got his stupor on right now. I can listen to several things at once, which is the idea. And several things can happen at once. But that's the beauty of the hobby, for me anyways, because I don't like to listen to one frequency at a time. At least, for instance now, since there's no net, at least not on the MRA, that's the MRA on VHF. So I can scan the CB channels here in the States and all the other services at the same time. See, I can use that audio amp right there. Those are battery chargers on top. They hold 8, I think they're nickel metal hydride. I think that's what I ordered. I got 4 speakers. Those 2 on the outside are like computer speakers. They came with a desktop type stereo receiver and DVD or CD player rather. 49 megahertz headphones on top, and in the center are 2 C-cell powered. They say they're for musical instruments like guitars and keyboards, and I have 2 for stereo because they're mono. They run off 4 C-cells a piece, so if the power goes out and I want to run amplified audio, I can still do it that way. That's a UHF antenna on top. It's NMO, it's not mounted to anything, it's just in storage. That's what I'm using to receive on 3 scanners. I've got a 70 centimeter, well, it's really a dual band antenna, that black one on the left, but I'm using it for 70 centimeters, and you can see the VHF quarter wave and its shadow against the wall. That's what the Motorola Astro Spectra is tied into. The CM300 is on the dual band antenna there. So I'm further in the apartment than I was before, but not by much. There's a collection of toy radios and PC-80 pager receivers. The transmitters are in storage right now, but they still work fine. I got plenty to utilize and play with. My better half can contact me in several different ways, several different bands, if she wants to, if she doesn't use the phone. I can hear sawing logs right now. I hope you can't, but this is the current setup. Now the 2006 on the right is set to hear only the railroad right now, and they're kind of quiet. They'll probably pick up later on tonight. Probably missed the Amtrak that already came through, being after, well, I don't know, it's 8 o'clock, post 8 o'clock. I think the Northeastern Regional's already come through southbound into Main Street Station, just down the block from where I am, and that's the railroad block, that is. They're probably a few blocks, city blocks, from where we are here, but it's close enough to hear all that traffic. Anyways, that's a typical setup. I wish there was a weekly net on the MRA, but it's not. It's every other week. But that's the way that particular club has it set up. And this isn't one of my, or typically not my, higher grossing videos as far as the Rats net or this particular District 1 Aries net for this area, I guess. But it's never anything more than just a simple rag chew. Fill in the blank question, answer the question net. It's there's never any Aries traffic. There's never any NTS traffic pass. Never, ever, ever. On the rare occasion, we'll have one official show up for the net. I forgot to mention, I can listen to Air Care and Med 9 on that radio. That's listen only. And it's also set up to operate on GMRS. That's not typical for amateur radio equipment, but that's specifically used mainly for GMRS. I got access to all 22 channels. I am licensed. But there's the other channels that I can utilize, at least listen to the medical helicopters, and I can talk obviously on the 70 centimeter RATS machine and a few other 70 centimeter channels. That was the option it was given when I received the radio. But it's mainly for the purpose of general mobile radio service. Now, as far as, again, on the RATS machine VHF, the announcement that was given earlier was a repeat from last night, I believe, it was an invitation to join the club in participating in the next marathon, which I believe is the, what do they call it? It used to be the Memorial, I don't know if it's Memorial Avenue, Memorial Boulevard Marathon. I think it's a 10K race, and most of the memorials and statues are gone. So now it's pretty much nothing like what it used to be. You don't see those things anymore as you run the 5K or 10K and walk it through and all that. You don't have the privilege to see those monuments anymore. Monument Avenue, that's what it is. So it's technically no longer Monument Avenue because there are no monuments left. They've all been removed. I don't know why they wanted to, well, I mean, I know why they wanted to do it, but they're not going to change the marathon name because all the monuments are gone, I wouldn't think. Actually, I changed my mind. I would think they would change the name because there's no longer any monuments, but, you know, what do I know? Bye-bye. That's the actual frequency they're on. I can also hear the helicopters talking amongst themselves on frequencies like 123.025, I think it is. Saw some traffic earlier on 121.100. There's a few different frequencies as they talk amongst themselves here over the city of Richmond. There's no air traffic control over the city, so they, in a sense, police or air traffic control themselves. And it sounds like there's going to be roughly 2 or 3 in the air at the same time. It's not uncommon for the area. I have seen them up to a half dozen at the time. I don't think the weather is too bad because they were flying amongst and into the wind earlier today as I was watching them. Let's see. Actually, you take a gander at who's doing what right now. Make a little room here. Let's see who's up in the air. Anybody? Anybody? Don't worry about that. That was just an audio cable for I would normally use on one of these smart devices. Yeah, we're down here. Oh, that's the Virginia State Patrol. They're getting ready to take off. They're already at 300 feet. And let's go into an ad. Thank you. I'm not paying for deleting the ads. I just get the free version. Free version. Anyway, this is many of the things that I can do while I am participating in the radio stuff. I use this app to listen to the fire department. This is Scanner Radio app. And then I can add to it the screen something else. And this supposedly could do split screen. I just haven't figured it out yet. I can watch two apps at once. Probably put in a little more effort. See, there's no participation of precipitation in our area. That's the blue dot right there. But it's coming out of the middle southwest there. And I think we'll see it. I think we'll see it come Saturday and Sunday. But it looks pretty clear right now. See, there's maybe some clouds, moisture off down that way towards Newport News, south of Williamsburg. It's kind of, looks like it's on a westerly track just a little bit. That's down around Wakefield, actually. I think that's where the weather service, our local weather service is. Yeah, you can barely see it amongst the clouds. There is some moisture coming in out of the west, it looks like. Let it catch up here. Yeah, it's dissipated a bit in the past hour, so I don't think we'll see any of that. That's probably what they were expecting, was to see that moisture come in, and didn't want to clear for that flight until they knew for sure they weren't going to run into it. That makes sense. And they've been needing it in those areas out that way because out here past Louisa, I think it's, where is Luray? Actually, I think Luray is over here somewhere, just past Rockville. Not sure. There's Montpelier. But they've had fires out that way. We've had wildfires for the past couple of days, and most of it's been, I think, northern Virginia. So whatever rain comes through there, they could use that, and they'll need it this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Anyways, the only bad thing about putting the device here is I have no access to my buttons to go back into scan mode or stop it when I want to. That's kind of a drawback, but I don't always put that there. I actually have a molded styrofoam section that came from a TV set package. Those big flat screens, they come with molded styrofoam parts to protect it in packaging, and it's an L shape. Oh, he's bleeding over. It's an L shape, so I can temporarily prop up these devices with to do what I want to do. I used to have. Oh, he's really bleeding over. I used to have holders for these things, but they wear out so darn fast. They got the suction cups on the bottom with the spring clamps and the locks, but they wear out so darn fast, and they're kind of cheap. They're $20 a piece, depending on where you buy them. You go to the dollar store or dollar and quarter store, they're calling them now. But I've been shopping at Walgreens and CVS, and you can get those things over there too. They're about $20 or $30. They're not too bad, but they don't last very long, especially if you clamp and unclamp a lot. And that's kind of the big thing. That's kind of the big thing. They wear out so fast. It's not the suction cups, it's just the darn clamps. The teeth, I think, you can jump a tooth and the spring just forces it right open like it's supposed to when you unlock it, and it strips the teeth out fast. So I'm at a loss. I just assume not pay for anything This particular tablet that I'm recording with now is actually on top of an old crystal scanner, and the antenna is extended just long enough to hold the thing up in its position. So it as some say, it'll work till it don't. This would normally be my typical night or evening. It's really not that late, but this is what I would do in the shack. Got plenty to listen to and communicate with, and it can be loads of fun. It can be busy. It could be dead silent. But it sounds like the medical helicopters are picking up. They're a little busy. I don't see any medical helicopters on Flight Radar 24 right now. There's a little action over at the International Airport. There's just not a whole lot of aircraft in the air. I see the State Patrol is still down here, hovering around, I guess. They've been doing some training today. Oh, they're up to 700 feet now. Yeah, they're just flying around the airport. Calm down, lady. A little bit of panic when you make a minor mistake like that. I don't know. It's kind of unnecessary in that profession, I think. Let's see who's down here. Alright, there's VCU Health Life Evac. November 105, November Kilo. Hey, William, that's pretty good. You're good with the phonetics. You're coming in. Now, I haven't paid for anything on this. This is a free version, too, so I can see the... well, it says barometric altitude. I'm sure it's the one they adjust. And don't quote me on anything, because I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to things like this. It shows ground speed of 132 knots, which seems awful fast. I guess they're in a hurry, which is probably very accurate. But I don't know if that was the one they were, or the one they're expecting to come in as they're talking to the Air Carrier Eagle. I don't know if I want to. I guess I could lock out the whole band. I don't really want to do that, but. Nope. This is the wrong one. It's bank 6, not bank 7. I should have known that. Oh, wow. Whoops. Who is this down here in Hopewell? Mid-Flight of Ohio? Why are they still down here? Are you getting it straight, lady? Sometimes I just don't know. Let's follow these guys for a little bit. Looks like they just left the area of Forksville. Or South Hill. I don't know. I'm not from Virginia. I know a little bit about the area. These names always kill me. I used to drive through here when I was OTR, and I've always seen the sign for Farmville. And that was right before I discovered Farmville on the internet, as far as the app, the game. I was like, there really is a place called Farmville. Anyways, nonsense. I'm just talking to hear myself talk like a lot of these folks do here on the internet. And sometimes it's entertaining, and sometimes it's boring. And if you've gotten this far, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Sometimes when that scanner stops on 146.280, it's because the railroad is on their way through, and that might be triggered by one of the default detectors right outside, close enough as it is to this antenna. Unless it might be a simplex frequency on 2 meters. Be kind of unheard of. There it is, 123.050 on the Pro 52, 2052. That's one of the local air-to-air frequencies as these pilots talk to each other in the area. Basically all that is here I am, please don't run into me. We're all flying in the same area. Alright, so the Ohio helicopter, I think, is down in Petersburg. They came out of Hopewell. And I don't know if they are contracted to the local system or if they're training out of Ohio here in Virginia or what. I don't know. They could be leased out to one of these organizations for their use here locally. They're up there kind of high, flying kind of fast. So, I don't know. Whoops. I don't want that aircraft. I want that aircraft. Thank you. And I did sit here today and watch the Virginia State Patrol circle the city a little bit. They took off down there around up here. That should be Richmond Chesterfield Regional Airport. They took off from there and they circled Richmond, then went up to this area up here, closer to Glen Allen, and they circled once. Then he came down the Midlothian and circled once, and then they went back over to the airport and landed. That took about an hour or so, but I heard them when they passed overhead out here because I'm right downtown, and it was kind of low flying, but they circled the city of Richmond twice. Pretty sure it was just routine. Somebody's learning the area, probably another pilot or some other officer. There was nothing special going on. Like there's protests that happen down here occasionally, downtown, right outside the government's mansion, and that was not going on today. Not that I'm aware of.
We're in the area attempting to locate.
I wasn't paying attention
Receive. I'll get the command call. Try to get the location.
to where they are. But that's kind of, the downfall
I'm sorry, sir. Could you repeat? You came in kind of
listening
low.
to so many times, or listening to so many different frequencies at once.
I copy your traffic. I'm going to give the command a call to get a better location. Thank you.
You professional radio operators, you know all this stuff, and this is boring to you. But there are some folks out there that haven't seen this yet or haven't had the experience. Some of them are dedicated SAT-hams, as they are called, unfortunately, and they do VHF and UHF and HF radio, which some of you say or think is shortwave. It's a little different, a little same. But anyways, they have the experience and they listen to one or more at the same time as well. Me, I kind of specialize in some of the surrounding services, as well as amateur radio, as well as the General Mobile radio service, the family radio service, which is pretty much of the same service. Power limitations and not license required. GMRS, you have to have a license to run anything over 5 watts. Which makes sense. It shows your responsibility. At least you're paying for it. You know, it's like buying a fishing or hunting license to use a bigger weapon. But aside from that, I also listen to obviously the MURS right there on top of the 2006 and whatever else is out there. Of course, the medical aircraft, some other aircraft. I don't listen to the commercial aircraft much. Of course, it doesn't really come in for me, but it's neither here nor there. I also listen to the railroad. They're rebuilding a bridge right outside here on Broad Street over the I-95 corridor. I can hear them working on the weekends because that's when they're working. I can hear a lot of tower crane operations. I listen to a lot of elevator maintenance. Hospital right across the interstate from here.
9634 Evans Way. She did advise the fire was put out. All she sees is this smoke.
Okay, sounds like the fire's out.
Can you repeat her address again, please?
Yes, please.
It's going to be 9634 Evans Way. 9634 Evans Way Lane. It's going to be behind her house.
So anyways, I can hear lots of folks working
Okay,
around
looks
here.
like the house in question's on Fernley Drive. We'll stop by real quick. Check it out.
I can listen to the truck drivers as they go by the interstate. Other passers-by on FRS, GMRS, obviously. Sometimes they stop in the area and they walk around the old slave jail property location, cemetery, and of course Main Street Station is right down the street. Amtrak's pretty busy over there. I can hear Amtrak as well. Certain times of the day. They only come through here so many times a day on this line, but I can definitely hear them when they come through, loud and clear. I can walk right outside down to Brown Street crossing, and that's in other videos. And I can watch them go by and do their thing, which is pretty cool, neat operation because they'll back in the mornings about 4:30-ish, I think it is, and lay out some, well, I guess for the lack of a better term, is the railroad flares. And gosh, has he stopped moving? They lay out the railroad flares because, oh, okay, no. All right. I zoomed in way too much. Good, they missed each other. Here's the other helicopter right there. That's the Ohio helicopter. Anyways, they lay out their railroad flares because there are no crossing arms or lighted crossing arms at that intersection, that level crossing. It's just lighted crossbucks, and that's it. That was their explanation. But anyways, it's kind of fun to watch, and I've done it a few times. But they'll back into Main Street Station. Supposedly Northeastern Regional is supposed to go all the way down to Newport News, but they don't always do that. They'll back in from, I guess, a local yard north or west of Richmond, pretty much north of town. There's a yard up there, and that's probably where they come from. They'll back all the way in, pick up at Main Street Station,
Engine 17.
and then pull out for
Person bound.
Boston and New
2715.
York.
Bainbridge Street. Albert Carter Jones Park. Engine 17. Person down. 2715. Bainbridge Street. At Fonticello Albert Carter Jones Park. Cross streets are West 27th Street and Carter Jones Park Prim. Contact Channel 2. Time out. 1943.
So obviously an urban outdoorsman has already laid down for a nap. And according to the clock, it's only 7:45. I thought it was after 8. My apologies. But yeah, that's usually what happens. Person down. Oh boy, person down means that somebody's laying down and some citizen has decided to call it in and say, hey, somebody has fallen down. Come check them out. And it's usually somebody that's already laid down for a nap. Ugh. Sacramento. Deadly shooting at Sacramento Light Rail Station. Carjacking also reported. That's from the Scanner Radio app. I get those very important notifications. And all this other YouTube stuff and some eBay things that I've been searching for that not necessarily that interested in. So you can clear all that and get back to what I was doing. Stuff like that happens. We've had, again, lots of wildfires, lots of accidental ignitions of grass or bushes or something. Some idiots out there tossing cigarettes or cigars or their weed. When they're done with it, they don't put it out. They just flick it off, and the wind picks it up, blows the embers around, and poof, you have a fire. And more often than not, it's near a building or multiple buildings, and that's what they're concerned about. And some goofball will burn their dinner or get so snookered that they forget the oven's on or whatever. They're burning their biscuits or their onions on the stove top.
3220 Ellsworth Road. The occupant is in the process of putting out the fire pit.
Oh.
I copy update address 3320 Ellsworth Road. 3220.
So there's a burn pit
3220
in use.
Ellsworth Road.
You would think, permit or not, you could do that. As long as you watch it, with some kind of way to extinguish the embers on the outside of the burn pit, it would be okay. But, you could do that in the state of Georgia, I think, without a permit, certain times of the year. Certain times you'd have to have a permit, other times you don't. Burn whatever refuse, I guess, as long as you got some kind of fire extinguishing source. But here in I guess the Commonwealth, the whole state's the Commonwealth of Virginia, you can't do that. Well, I can understand that. It's a different place, different government, what have you. Makes sense. Makes more sense to actually know the rules and follow them. Keep yourself out of trouble.
In the area. Attempted to locate. Do you have a better description?
There's a fire in a pit. That was a railroad frequency. 161.875. I don't hardly ever hear anything on that frequency. What the heck was that? No, it's kind of dark in here. $123.050 again. Even sometimes it's late in the evening, you can hear some sanitation department in one of these buildings collecting trash this late, boxes and other recyclables, and trying to get it down the elevator shaft or garbage chute, whatever it is, to the bin so the collectors can come, I guess, during the middle of the night or early in the morning to pick it up. I know they come here to this complex about 4 or 5 in the morning on at least Mondays, if not twice a week. They might come around on Monday and Thursday or Monday and Friday, rattle around and roll around dumpsters and compactors outside and shove them back in. Sometimes they leave a mess, but
motor vehicle accident.
you can't hear those guys.
Estimated at Mechanicsville and Mechanicsville Turnpike. Engine 15. Motor vehicle accident. Estimated at Mechanicsville and Mechanicsville Turnpike. On tap channel 2. Timeout. 1948.
Now, at some point, and we probably already have, it barely triggers or breaks the squelch on the radios here. They're communicating amongst themselves in the helicopters, and that's why I stopped at 123.050. Probably hear them a lot better when they come in here past the Richmond Chesterfield Regional Airport, which is down there, way down there. But yeah, it's not really way down there. I'm just saying it's probably about 5 miles out from here. But the closer they get, for me, the better I'll be able to hear them. Of course, with Air Care and their repeater system, you can hear them just fine. As long as you can hear the repeater, no problems. But air to air sometimes is difficult, especially being amplitude modulated. But nonetheless, I can hear them. I can really hear them clearly out here, right outside the hospital. A mile or two out, they may throw out some communication for themselves or with the hospital. They're still coming. I'm not sure what 464-500 is. I think it's medical, but I'm not sure. It's not triggering the CM300, but I don't think it's as sensitive as these 2006s are. And I think the Pro 2052 is a little more sensitive than those two. And those three are on the same antenna again. So they should have all equal advantage to hearing all this traffic. So if you've gotten this far with me on this part, video's running kind of long. I appreciate it. I do have a blast when it's as busy as this is, and I'm glad I got to capture this much this far. Kind of hope you share these far and wide. This is a good hobby to have. If you enjoy doing this as much as I do, you'd probably share it with some of your friends. Okay, so that's this helicopter here, I think. And they're being expected from that other hospital up there, I think. I think that's a hospital. But, get a little more here. Zoom in just a little bit. And they'll be coming in close to where we are, because I'm stationed right down here. In this area right here. Yeah. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can. Whoops. A little more color in here, more brightness. They're coming in, and they're going to land right over here somewhere, just to the left of the interstate. And I'm on this side of the interstate, right about here, amongst that intersection. It looks like a big intersection. It is a 2-lane street, or excuse me, 4-lane street. Really, it's a divided street, and it's divided by a block, but it's 2 lanes northbound, 2 lanes southbound. And that crossroad there is actually the Lee Street Viaduct that crosses over from downtown at Lee Street, crosses the interstate and Oliver Hill Way, and it goes over to what is known as O Street. And I think O Street, since they built the bridge, it remains there under the bridge. They're kind of flying far south. Did they pass the hospital? Wow. They must be going to another hospital. Anyways, O Street crosses right about here. This is O. And, oh, wait a minute. No, that's O. Excuse me. Up there is O. I'm not sure what that is. But once they built the bridge, the remainder of O Street crossed over to Oliver Hill and stops at our driveway in the complex.
Engine 14, Engine 5, Truck 6, Safety 1, and Battalion 2. Inside gas leak.
Somebody farted.
4007, North Avenue, at Lincoln Views Apartments, Apartment 5. Engine 16, Engine 14, Engine 5, Truck 6, Safety 1, and Battalion 2. Inside gas leak. 4007, North Avenue, at Lincoln Views Apartments, Apartment 5. Cross streets are west of Vernon Avenue and Name Road. On tap channel 3. Time out. 1953.
I guess that was a little too bright. Sorry about that, but wow, where are they going? They are going. I don't know. I don't know where everybody's going. He's up there. That one's already turned south a bit. It's like it came right over the hospital instead of following 290. Well, not 295, because that's way off to the east.
Companies around for that gas leak. Smell inside 4007 North Avenue, Apartment 5.
So he's kind of following 995.
Smell gas coming from a vent upstairs from a box. Gas works has been notified. Show companies around. Thank you. 54 hours.
Okay, so our friend from VCU Health Life Evac has slowed and reduced altitude. They're down to 48 knots, 500 feet. They're out there in Bon Air. I'm not sure. They must be going to Chesterfield. Yeah. They're at Chesterfield Parkway and Jank Road. So I think that's the Chesterfield Hospital. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on the name, but it's over there on the west side of town. And that's actually right near the, there's a GMRS repeater over there. That's about the only one we have locally here in town. It's the Bon Air repeater. And it works very well for what it is.
Richard 16 Robin, 2-story Middle Road Townhome, 16B, come in, investigate.
fencing with the Middletown home. Investigating as storms happening from in 1966 hours.
I hear the railroad. Let's see if we can catch the default detectors right quick. Then we'll end the video. I know it's very long. Again, I appreciate you hanging on as late as it is. Turn on my backlight here. Pick up my cable again. Okay. Tie in my really smart devices to my audio board here for later. Let's see, this weekend we're supposed to get a lot of rain, but that doesn't stop those guys working on the bridge.
Go ahead. I believe Enrico PD passed it along, but I just want to confirm it. This is in the city, and we are going to need RPD out here on City Street.
So the idea is, and they'll probably work throughout the weekend again. If they have to finish work on that bridge, they're going to work rain or snow or whatever.
What's happening? Go ahead.
Try and get those bridge decks installed.
Meet us outside.
So I'll be able to hear them.
That's going to be a negative. The caller has a disconnected line. I don't know who would make contact with them.
But you can reduce it to 16 and 6.
There's the railroad. AAR channel number 8.
Received.
160.230.
Oh, the customer return service message in the air.
I believe it's CSX. I could be wrong. We kind of share the same channel here in the same block at AM Junction, or Amtrak Junction.
17, go ahead.
Ourselves, Richmond,
That was loud.
we've not found anything real clear, not found it.
Received. Nothing found. Thanks for returning service message to the air.
The city fire department, their digital system is not perfect, but since I'm too cheap, and I'm really cheap, I'm not going to buy a digital radio to a little shadow right there. I'm too cheap to buy a digital receiver. Of course, they're $500-600 a piece, and yes, you could probably decode all this with an SDR, but I'm also too cheap to buy a laptop. And I understand they're like $50, $100. Even a used one's pretty cheap. But I don't make any income. Of course, I don't pay any taxes either unless I go to the grocery store. But none of that's my money anyways. It's neither here or there. I'm working with what I got. And what I got is right here in front of me. And this was very easy to acquire. I've had lots of help with it. But back to the bridge work, they'll be on 457.500, which is I believe a UHF itinerant frequency, one of probably 100 or 200 simplex and possibly repeater allocation frequencies. But the point is they're close enough to hear, and I can hear all their work. They work both on the bridge above and they open and close lanes on the interstate below. I can also listen to them when they clean up the interstate on a regular basis. They'll clean up at night. They'll sweep the shoulders or whatever and get all the, the gator backs off the interstate, so nobody has to run over those anymore. They'll vacuum out it's not the sewer system, it's the storm drains. That's what I'm trying to say. Or it could be both here. I don't know. Anyways, you can hear those guys working. It's probably not uncommon to know that the flag crews, they use Channel 1 on the FRS. Of course, the local school system here on top of the hill at Mosby and P, the MLK Junior preschool and middle school, they use FRS Channel 1, sometimes Channel 2 or 3. They're pretty easy to hear too. So that's all. More railroad. That's all more fun. And Lots of things to listen to. Lots and lots of things. It changes throughout the day and through the night. And sometimes you get the weird people at night, and they're not that hard to copy. And it just makes it all fun. So looks like they're landed at the hospital in Chesterfield. Quickly, the other one is way down around Petersburg. I don't know how far they're going, but they're continuing south. I don't think the weather's changed that much for us, and it probably won't until tomorrow, late tomorrow night, early Saturday morning. Yeah, CSX is already at Coney Island. That's a different block, but I don't know if they're coming this way or if they've already passed through. I think technically they've already passed through, but I think either that's the weather system that's coming in for us, or it's going to come in from up here. And a lot of that's probably snow. We won't see any snow. It's just going to be too warm because I imagine right now what we're pushing is pretty warm. Come on, current conditions. Thank you. Oh, well, we're 48, so it's still a little too warm. Just a tad bit breezy outside. There ain't a whole lot going on, but that's not bad. I expect more activity this weekend, and that's what I'm going to be listening to. And if I find anything interesting, of course, I'll always upload it and put it on the channel here. And looking forward to doing that. Hope you come by and sit a moment and watch what it is that we do here at American Radio X-Ray. I've enjoyed it. Share it with your friends, and maybe we can get a little less noise next time.
16 officers from 16 Hydra.
Go ahead.
What are we doing?
Did you make contact with the resident?
Of course not.
Yes, come to the back side.
Oh. Imagine that. Ooh. My biscuits are burning. Alright, I think an hour and 10 minutes is long enough, don't you? Why are you still here? Go to bed. Find something else to do.